So after we have our passion, that we realize what's the why, that we know that we want to do this field of business, you take an understanding of the field. You understand how the industry works, and you understand, okay, this is something that I could actually do. I'm willing to put in the work. I am passionate about this field. Now let's get to the fun part. The business organization. How do you structure your business? How do you really tap into forming the right entity for your company? So there's a couple different ways you can go. You could do a sole proprietorship, which is the last of my recommendations. I will not recommend you doing a sole proprietorship because you hold all the liabilities having a sole proprietorship. Next, we have the limited liability company, or LLC, which is my personal recommendation for all startups and even bigger companies, because you're separating yourself from your company, but you also have the liberty as an LLC that you could file your taxes as an S Corp. You could file your taxes as a sole proprietorship. So it gives you the options that you maybe wouldn't get in a sole proprietorship, but in an LLC, you're able to get the tax options, but you're able to separate your personal assets from your company's assets. So your company is no longer a liability to yourself. Or you could go down the corporation route, which is also recommended. In my personal experience and my recommendation is that if you don't have a correct team, or if your business isn't big enough, I would stay away from the corp, because of course you're going to be able to file your taxes as an S Corp or a C Corp, but you have to understand when the IRS is going to audit your corp is a way different ballgame than when it is for your LLC. There's a lot more paperwork and a lot more requirements that a corp brings that maybe in the beginning stages of your business, you just don't have the infrastructure to do so. You may want to take advantage of the tax breaks or whatnot, but if you can't keep up with the audits, that's gonna bring you fees that you will have to pay, and it's gonna defeat the purpose. So I would, that's just my personal recommendation, but at the end of the day, you can go in the direction that your business decides. If you're coming into a bigger business and you have the budget and you have the infrastructure, of course, go down the corporate route. You're gonna have more tax benefits, and you'll be able to write things off that perhaps you won't be able to do in the limited liability company. So in that reason, you could pivot and understand and see which business entity is gonna be best for you. And the best part is that you're gonna learn this in the step before, right? Once you get that part-time in the industry, once you learn it, you're gonna know, all right, this industry, I gotta come in with a higher startup budget, but I gotta set up my entity as a corp because I'm gonna have more benefits. And I have the team that's gonna help me fulfill the needs of that entity. So once we understand that, then you're going into the next step. Another thing I wanna explain that many people don't understand, and we get the question asked often in our firm, is should I start the company as an LLC or a trademark? We have to understand a trademark is not an entity, right? All a trademark is doing is offering you a protection. You don't make revenue from a trademark. There's no gain from a trademark, except that if I make this logo and I don't want anyone else to do it, I'm gonna go ahead and file a trademark so no one else could do it. It's good depending on the type of company that you're starting. My personal recommendation is wait 6 months. The reason I say wait 6 months before you trademark is because a trademark is expensive, right? And it's not bringing you any direct revenue. It's just a protection. And then you still got to go through court litigations and different things. So it's something to keep in mind. What happened to me in my experience, when I opened the juice bar, so it was Shakin' Amazing Juice Bar. And it took me maybe like 1.5 years, 2 years to understand, I got to get rid of this amazing, right? But what happened? I had already trademarked Shakin' Amazing. So now I got to go back in and trademark Shakin'. And it's just something that you have to keep in mind, again, because it's expensive. So depending, again, on the business you're in, if you want to protect your intellectual property or your designs or your name, wait about 6 months, because you don't know what the market is going to tell you in your industry. And it's happened with huge companies, right? McDonald's, it wasn't always the Golden Arches. It was a completely different name. And they have to pivot and create another logo and create another name and trademark everything in the process. If you got the McDonald's budget, go right ahead. If you're in the startup process, everything should be paid from the business. And the better you understand that, the better your decisions will be made and what steps to do in your business. Of course, a trademark is important. Not for all industries, it should be done right away. Some people can wait. Instead of spending that money into your trademark, spend that money into your business plan. Develop a great business plan where you're gonna understand. As a business, you're gonna have your business goals and you're gonna have your financial goals. What's gonna give you a clear picture of how to accomplish these goals is your business plan. You want your projections to be year one, 100,000, year two, $500,000, and year three, $1 million. Your business plan is gonna give you a roadmap on how to acquire and how to accomplish these goals. If you don't prepare and you're freestyling every day, how do you know where you're gonna go? And that's what happens in our community often. It's happened to me. I've had businesses where I didn't properly prepare a business plan and I wasn't able to scale. And what happened? The market destroyed me and crushed me. This happened with my dog walking business. I had one client, word of mouth, I moved around in my community, and I was able to build this to 23 clients a day. And I was good for 2-3 years. Then I realized, wow, what's going on around me? My city, Jersey City, began to get gentrified and the community began to change. When I took a blink and look at my competitors, these guys were walking 70, 60 dogs a day. Then I realized, all right, I lost. Right? And what happened in that case? I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a business plan to help me scale within my market. And the only way you're gonna execute that and properly do it is by having a business plan. As much as we wanna have things in our brain and think that, oh yeah, I can freestyle and think about it. You may be very, very talented, but your brain can't handle all that information for you to keep a pace. Like, all right, this is my monthly goals. I gotta make sure I only spend this amount of inventory. I gotta make sure my marketing expense reaches a certain amount every month, and I gotta reach a certain amount of sales every month. If you're not properly doing that, you don't have a plan to execute that, unfortunately, your business is not gonna be as successful. You're gonna maybe be stagnant. You may reach a peak where you feel like, wow, I'm doing great. But great could be better if you have a business plan. Think about all big corporations, right? And that's the difference in our community. We have great businesses, but we're not planned to scale. Big corporations, they have business plans for every quarter. Every quarter. I remember working at the cable companies. I mean, these companies, they will have a rollout every quarter for us. These are the quotas that we have to meet every month. There's a new DVR with a certain amount of hours that costs $16.99. We gotta make sure everybody we sign up gets away with this. How do these big corporations get to those numbers? They have a plan to help them execute it. And that's what you should do. It doesn't matter the size of your business, just create your plan. The better your plan, the better you're prepared, what's gonna happen? You're gonna succeed. And that's what you definitely need to do when it comes to business.